A direct complaint in English often sounds very rude. Perhaps not in a big city, where complaints may be a regular part of daily life. But generally, complaints are softened so they become civilized communication. To be polite, we usually break the bad news gently. Here are a couple of examples. I'm sorry to have to say this, but I've never received very good service from your account representatives. Or, I don't want to create a problem, but this ad campaign is simply not bold enough for our purposes. Notice that there is an introductory statement, which is gentle. I'm sorry to have to say this. Or, I don't want to create a problem. And that is followed by the actual complaint. I've never received very good service. The ad campaign won't work. We use expressions like these and those listed in the following business file before we actually make our point. Note these examples. Complaint openers. I wonder if you could help me. Look, I'm sorry to bother you, but there's something you could help me with. I hate to say this, but I'm sorry to have to say this, but I think you may have forgotten. It may have slipped your mind, but there may have been a misunderstanding about. I don't want to create a problem. Okay, now let's practice making complaints. Here's an example. Your colleague shouldn't have made a private long-distance call on the office phone. You. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you shouldn't have made a private long-distance call on the office phone. Got it? Okay, let's try these. Number 1. Your colleague shouldn't have made a private long-distance call on the office phone. You. You might have said, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you shouldn't have made a private long-distance call on the office phone. Now remember, your responses will vary from mine. Number 2. Your assistant should have faxed Philadelphia, not written a letter. A fax is much quicker. You. Well, you might have said, there's something I need to tell you. You should have faxed Philadelphia. A fax is much quicker for important information. Number 3. Your supervisor made an appointment for both of you to see the vice president on Wednesday, but you both have a previous meeting. You. You might have said, I hate to have to say this, but we both have meetings at the same time. We are booked with the vice president. Can we reschedule? Number 4. Your colleague should have contacted the data processing manager before sending in an order for computer software. You. Well, you might have said, I don't want to create a problem, but you should have contacted the data processing manager before sending in the software order. That was excellent. Now practice these situations because they occur quite often.